Good morning. Tent's taken down, breakfast has been eaten, coffee has been drank. I'm ready to go. 6:20 in the morning. Pretty dark underneath this canopy of trees in this thick part of the forest. Trying to do 22 miles today to get to the spot where I need to camp to get picked up in the morning to go into town for resupply and a Nero, uploading videos and all that good stuff. As soon as I set up the tent last night, it got super windy, and started raining. And with all the down trees, I was a little worried, but not too bad. But it didn't last long, maybe 30 minutes to an hour. It didn't rain anymore, but it definitely cooled it down some. So it was a nice cool sleep last night. But I was also in water at the bottom of my tent, and I don't know why. I can't find a leak anywhere in the tent. So I'm thinking maybe one of the, as in this area here. So it's like really scrunched up. And I kind of had to jimmy the bottom part. It's kind of up like that. So maybe a part of the fly was open and it was leaking in, but that kind of stunk. Everything's wet, the tent's wet, everything's wet again. So that means heavier pack, but that's okay because I'm tough. But anyway, I'm getting on the trail, 6:20 in the morning. Let's see if I can make those 22 today in a reasonable time. So I'm not setting up camp in the dark. I think we'll be fine. Like 4,500 of elevation. That's never the problem here though. It's the mud and the rocks and the trees. It just slows you down. So it might be level, but that doesn't mean it's going to be easy terrain. It's pretty hard terrain at times. And when I say hard, I don't mean like difficult. I mean just hard on the feet, hard on getting any speed going. So we'll see what happens, but I'm looking forward to getting into town tomorrow. So I have some motivation. Food. This is stupid. Trail came up here. You have to go over this log kind of as you're climbing over that one, ducking over the other one, and you're going right into a mud puddle. And you come over here and you got this stupid thing. I've already went through 4 or 5 blowdowns. Haven't even went half a mile yet. It's like you have to be technical on trees. This one looks like it has a little way around at least, but some of them do not. There was one that looked like this. Sharp branches coming out of it that went parallel with the trail, but then the trail went like that, so you had to somehow climb over the pokey sticks coming out, the sharp sticks, which are, you don't want to fall on one of those, and somehow turn at the same time. And right there was like a, I don't know, 8-inch to a foot hole. So as you're climbing over this huge tree, your foot has to go way down in the hole, which it can't reach, which just makes it very susceptible to fall in the branches. Oh man, wasn't expecting that workout first thing in the morning. A lot of blowdowns. Hopefully it doesn't continue too long. If it does, it does. Not much I could do about it, but I'm still smiling. You can't get me down, Maine. You can't get me down. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. So much for the dry feet for almost 2 days straight. God, I went through 3 or 4 holes of mud that went up to my ankles, completely drenched my feet. The thing I didn't want to do in hiking big miles today and having to walk through soaking wet feet. So annoying. I'm Mr. Positivity, but I'm also Mr. Realist. And this is stupid and disgusting that there is so much rain and mud and puddles that can go up to your waist sometimes, and bog boards that are half broken. I'm not the type of person to complain that trail maintenance is not being done, because at the end of the day, we don't do this because it's easy, but this is just annoying. Like, I just want to move right now, and I can't because everything's just a freaking wet, muddy mess, and there wasn't even that much rain to make it this bad. Hopefully, once I cross the second summit and start heading down, I'll be out of a good portion of this. I hope. If not, it might be a slower day than I want it to be. But I still have the miles to do, so still have to do them. Going through one of those bogs right now, or mud holes, whatever you want to call it, quicksand. I don't know. Anyway, just a little annoying. Moving way too slow. Too much flat land between these two mountains, I guess. I don't know. It's flat and the water runs down to the flat spots, but geez, give me a break. All right, me complaining doesn't help anything. But just so y'all know, it's not all roses, rose petals and burritos out here. Actually, I don't think there's any rose petals or burritos. Anyway, carrying on, climbing Bemis Mountain right now. Standing on the summit of Bemis Mountain. Not a hard climb elevation-wise, but the mud and the blowdowns were a pain in the butt. But I am here nonetheless. All socked in with trees, but beautiful trees. And there's fog in the distance anyway, so there wouldn't have been any views to see, even if there were. But the first summit of the day, 3,592 feet in the air, Bemis Mountain, is in the bag. Here's a beautiful view. Just imagine the drop-offs into the valley right there, and all the mountains in the distance. It's gorgeous, isn't it? Can you smell that? That's the smell of New Hampshire and Maine forever in my nostrils. It smells delicious. Easy place to lose the trail here. Not a lot of blazes here, but here they have some cairns. A lot of this area, can be confusing because it looks like little trails coming off it just because it's on rock. Somebody's been out here lately and blazing with the white blazes. Sure is pretty here. But anyway, they've been blazing because you could tell they're really fresh, but like that one's not. So it's hard to tell sometimes. The cairns definitely come in handy, but notice there's a lot of places that don't have the cairns. So Anyway, nice for a little terrain change here. There's a blaze. A little terrain change out of the forest. Dealing with more dry rock that way versus the wet rock. Good looking stuff. Standing on the summit of Bemis Mountain, peak number 2. I can't even tell you exactly what that means. I don't know if this is the same mountain with 2 different peaks. Definitely a lot of miles in between if it is. And it dipped down a lot, but then rose back up. It just didn't have a lot of raising up. Or if it's a totally different mountain. I don't know. But nonetheless, I'm here on the top of the summit of Bemis Mountain. Second peak elevation, 2,900 feet. Some really nice views of the mountains above the trees. That's about it. Beautiful out here, exposed in the sun on a cool, windy, breezy day. Feels great. But Bemis Mountain, peak number 2, is in the bag. Right before that little trickle of water, that little cascade, there were 4 crossings of water. Oh, actually, here's another one. 5. Like 5 branches of one creek. And one was running pretty good. Had a little bit of rapid going. But the other ones were all dry. This is weird. This is Maine. Not gonna complain. Getting a little bit of dryness on these water crossings, for sure. They're not all dry, but for some reason in this spot they are. All right, I got 9 miles in today, 13 more to go. It's right at noon right now. The harder part of the day is over, but here it's a mud fest these next 13 miles, even though it's cruisy. But this is Highway 17, probably about a 600-foot climb getting up here to cross over. But I think that's Rangeley Lakes down there. It's where I'll be stopping about 13 miles at Rangeley. But these views are pretty awesome. This is Detour here. So I think that one over there was that moody little mountain from yesterday, that square one at the top. You can see why that was so steep going up on the left side. but I'm gonna eat some lunch here and start heading out. 13 miles to go. It's getting a little breezy, but it's still pretty cool out. So feels good for now. Until later today. Gonna carry on here in a few. Beautiful. About 500 feet up, after descending Bemis 500 feet up to get to that road, then you cross the road and you climb another 200 or 300 feet on rock slab. I'm still waiting for this cruisy part. Maybe it's here now. Maybe. It's not a lot of incline during this section, a little ups and downs. I'm just hoping the trail is somewhat cruisy and not a lot of obstacles or mud. I know there's going to be mud. I've already heard about it. But that way I can at least get some good miles per hour in and make up some time. So I'm not getting to camp too late tonight, since I'm pushing through, unless it starts raining hard or something, which that wind has kicked up and it's gotten awful cloudy. So it might not be, it might be close, some rain or something. I don't know. But I'm going to try my best to get as close to Highway 4 as I can today. Nice little pond that I'm walking by. Very peaceful. I think it's called Moxie Pond. This here is called Long Pond. Beautiful little area. I am descending and I'll be right next to it. Come out at a beach, I guess. Beautiful. Don't really want to descend that far down. It's steep and it's already been quite steep up there. So much for cruisy in this section. There's the sandy beach. Not much. Long pond. It is beautiful. Looks like a lot more than just a pond, doesn't it? Gorgeous. About 8 miles to go and 1,000 feet of elevation. started raining off and on. I don't have a cover on my tent or over my backpack, which would cover my tent. Tent's on the outside, but it's still wet from last night. So I don't know if I'm going to go the whole 22. Regardless, I'm going to stop within a mile or two of there, just so I can make sure to meet them at 7:30. That way I'm not waiting around or have to find a hitch somehow to get in there earlier than 11. It's either 7:30 or 11. They drop people off at 7:30 that stayed the night before, so that's when I would get a ride back in and so forth. So that's why I'm pushing these miles today. It's pretty cruisy through here. It's not too bad. There's definitely some mud. There's definitely some ups and downs. There's still some scrambling. There's still rocks and there's still roots. But all in all, not too bad. Definitely not bad for elevation. But, you know, can't go quite as fast as what I normally would like to because there are a lot of obstacles in the trail. But for southern Maine standards, it's cruisy. So, see what happens. Like I said, about 8 miles to go. And I'm not worried about getting to a place to camp. I got that either way, either real close to the road or a mile or two before it. Either way, I'm good. Just really what concerns me is making sure I have a little bit of time to let the tent air out or dry out before I go sitting in it. Oh, look, a little open area here. Haven't seen this one time in Maine yet. Oh, of course, it's a power line. Anyway, gotta keep on cruising here. Get my tent set up, get into town tomorrow. Alrighty, I'm going to stop about 19 miles in for the day around a little pond here where there's some campsites a little afterwards, I guess. And I just need to air out my tent. It's soaked and it's getting to that time of night where it won't air out and I won't have time and then I'm going to sleep in a soaked tent. And it's a little too cold for that, so I'm going to keep on going. There's a privy. Nice. Must be getting close. So I'm going to set up my tent, let it air out. There's a nice breeze. Right now, the sun is shining. So unless it's full, then I will keep going. Otherwise, set up here and do those last 3-ish miles first thing in the morning. All right, everybody have a good night. Live life.